I just finished Moonlight, and I thought this was going to be a more spoiler-heavy review, but then I looked over my notes and I realized none of it's really a spoiler, so no need to skip through the video. So I thought Mahershala Ali was probably the best actor of the entire film. Really enjoyed what he did with his character. I definitely got a sense of him being, like, comfortable, but wanting to keep distance away from the crime elements he was around. And then the mom character gave a ton of nuance in her performance. I wish there was more like explanation as to what was wrong with her, but even without it, you still felt like you could grasp what was going on, at least the vagueness of it. The kid playing Little I thought was really good, and this is coming from someone who really hates child actors. I felt like he did a great job. He was obviously given a lot of direction, and he took that really well. How they introduced the theme of water representing happiness and bliss, I thought was taken beautifully and really was done very well throughout the entire film. I loved how they edited the film. It really gave this feel that everyone needed to be really tough all the time and that there wasn't any time to be alone. You just always had to be, the front man, the real strong guy, the muscle, because if you weren't, then you'd be thrown to the curbside. And speaking of nuances in the production, I also thought their use of blurring the sides of the character were really well done. It really gave you the feeling that they thought of themselves as being very important, and the rest of the world not seeming as even worth focusing on. Cinematography was great for most of the film, but there were some points when it became a little dry, and I'm not saying that every shot needed to be a beautiful masterpiece, but I really wouldn't have hated if some of the more emotional scenes got a bit more interesting angles. And while we're on the subject of critiques, I didn't enjoy the villain. Not to say that he had a bad actor, it's just it didn't make sense to me why he was so hostile towards Little. If you want to be the biggest kid on the block, then don't you want to hit the biggest kid on the block, not the smallest? And then I saw what the dream sequences were going for and showing what was on Little's mind, but I didn't like how they were presented and how frequently they were thrown in throughout the film. I felt like they could have been toned back a little bit and still have been just as effective. Great dialogue, great sets, great acting. Truly loved every bit of this film. I felt there was a lot of nuance, and overall I'll give it an A. Absolutely wonderful film.